Testing. Alrighty. Let's see here. I just gotta fix. Oh, interesting. Okay. All right, let me see here. I gotta move some stuff around, and then I'm gonna start opening this UPC. So I actually have an iPhone here. I'm recording on my normal social media, so I'm gonna record this for TikTok at the same time as I'm gonna open this live. So a little bit of a new format here. We're gonna open this up and see what's in it. I just picked this up from GameStop this morning, and yes, I paid the scalper price, but no, I didn't pay that out of pocket. I had a bunch of like old games that I needed to trade, and I don't really game that much besides a handful of games these days, so I also don't buy physical games anymore. So anyways, I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to trade in a bunch of these old games and some like PSA 8 cards that I had to open up another UPC. So how much did I pay out of pocket for this? $12. And so we're going to open this up. For anybody that hasn't opened a Mega Charizard UPC or seen it opened yet, we'll open that up. And then I'm also going to start recording this on my TikTok pre-recorded videos. So I have an iPhone sitting right here, if you can see it in my camera a little bit. So give me a second. I'm going to start that video and go through this as a new video series. So bear with me for a second. All right, so we're going to open another Mega Charizard here, and so we have the UPC. I took the wrapping off already, if you didn't already see that, so let's open this up and see what's in it. So in here we have our Pokemon Live card, which I'm going to throw to the side. That's not super important. We got some amazing promo cards. So there is the Mega Charizard X promo, and then there's also an Oricorio SIR in here. So I'll open those up in a little bit because I'll probably send these two cards in for grading. The Mega Charizard's worth enough where it's worth grading, or trying to get it graded. This thing comes out, and I'm going to throw that on the ground because I'm going to recycle this box later. All right, plastic covers. Now, let's see what we got in here. So in here we have our sleeves. We have a deck box that can actually fit a whole deck of sleeved cards, which is amazing. A real metal coin, which it's actually metal, and it's heavy. And big old dice that are actually not tiny. Lastly, what everybody really is looking for out of this is the playmat. I'm going to go grab my other one and unravel that one instead. And you're going to get to see my Pokemon pants that I'm wearing right now since I have my face video on Follow Me, so I'll be right back. I don't think it showed my Pokemon pants. Anyways, so I'm going to go ahead and throw this playmat out over here, and then I'll put the UPC back up there for a second. So if you haven't seen this playmat, this is what the playmat looks like, and it is absolutely beautiful. So I love this thing. It is one of the favorite playmats that I've ever seen. And so if you haven't bought a UPC yet, go buy the ones at Costco. You can buy one and one for a friend for like less than the price of the one I just bought at GameStop. So do I recommend anybody buying it at GameStop prices? Absolutely not. Don't do it. I only did it because I needed to do some live stream content for today. And like I said, I had a bunch of stuff to trade in. So before I go into the booster packs here, I am going to show y'all a different playmat that I just picked up. So I got this playmat from my local card shop, Many Realms, here in Las Vegas, and it's just the original three Blastoise, Charizard, and Venusaur, and I don't know, I love this one. They need to make this in a Pikachu. Like my fiance was mentioning that the other day, and I totally agree. So anyways, let's go ahead and we're going to start opening this UPC, and so I'm going to pause my other video here for a minute. And let me put this back here. All right, so per usual, there are 18 packs in this UPC, so we're going to take the packs out, and then I'm going to throw this whole box on the ground because it's unwieldy. And so that's gone. All right, so we have 4 Phantasmal Flames. We have 4 Destined Rivals. We have 4 Journey Together, 4 Mega Evolution, and 2 Surging Sparks. So a ton of packs out of one UPC. And at the $89, it's actually a pretty good deal because it's not that much more than half of a booster box, which is about, a booster box is $160. So for an extra $9, you're basically getting a playmat and a bunch of accessories. So at the $89 mark, this is an amazing deal. At $120, it's still an okay deal. At $200, like GameStop has it, just don't buy it unless you have a bunch of trade-ins. So anyways, let's go ahead and we're going to start with the 2 Surging Sparks boosters, and then we will move on to, in this order basically, left to right. All right, so let's see what we got here. I'm going to do my normal thing like this, and sorry for those of you that are watching this in my big widescreen camera view. I'm doing more card sorting after this, so reverse hollow Ninetales, Gastrodon, and so I'm also recording this on my phone for TikTok. So sorry about that, y'all. If it's harder to see these, I will do some more like direct live landscape TikToks in the near future. But once I get my card sorting tray out, then it'll make more sense why I did it this way. All right, next one. All right, Shellos, Cast Form, Sunny Form, and Iron Crown. So we didn't get anything out of these Surging Sparks boosters, which is fine. We still have 16 packs to go. So, all right, let me reset my video here, and then, all right, we're gonna go with the Journey Togethers next, and hope that we get some good hits in these. I got a Lily's Clefairy when I first started collecting again, but that thing, unfortunately, I just got it back from PSA, and it was a 9. But I was still learning exactly what was good for when it came to grading when I was first getting started back into collecting here. Lechonk, one of my favorites, Hops Bag, and Ends Reshiram, so nothing much there. Let's move on to our next pack. And I'm going to use some of these packs as more content to sort in a minute here, so if you haven't seen me do any sorting for my channel yet, that's what I've been doing live streams of, because I feel like it's actually kind of unique, where I don't think anybody else is like doing that very often, where I'm just sitting here like sorting and chatting with people. Darumaka, Lilligant. Ooh, I don't have the Ultra Rare Zoroark yet, so I will take that. Let's see if it is at all clean. This is an overhead camera here, so I have an iPhone hooked up like way above my head. That's why it's like a little bit weird. So anyways, it's at a weird angle too, because it's meant for sorting my bulk. But yeah, so I will get to that in a second here. Let's see. And that was my dog behind me making noises. So I don't know what she's making noises over. I have to go to the strip later. I'm here in Las Vegas. There's a conference going on for stuff related to what I was doing for a job before I got laid off. So gonna go do in-person interviews all afternoon. That's gonna be a good time. Audino, Escalvier, however you say it, and Magierna. All right. I feel like my dog is stinky today. I just got like a whiff of her stinkiness. All right, last one for Journey. Let's see what we got. Hey, Rare Candy Show. Thanks. Thanks for stumbling on my channel, and appreciate the comments and the follow. That was looking forward to growing that channel on YouTube more. And thanks to everybody on TikTok that's watching and following, too. Lily's Rabombi. This is a nice looking reverse hollow. Ooh, Wailord! I've been waiting to get another one of these. Let's see what kind of shape this guy's in. Whitening in the corners. All right, that's going in the binder. And a hollow Butterfree. All right, well, we got at least a hit. Might not have been in the best shape, but we got a hit out of Journey, so we took that journey together. That was my worst dad joke of the day. I'm going to see myself out. All right, let's see. Now we're going to open Mega Evolution. Let's see how we do with these. Give me a second. I'm going to adjust my desk or my TikTok camera here real quick so that I don't have to do as weird of an angle when I'm opening these things. I think I may have made it worse, though. Let's find out. All right, so, whoops. Yeah, that seems fine. Okay. All right, we got Reverse Hollow Ninetales, Raikou, and is it Kyogre? I don't know how to say that one. Every now and then I just say it completely different, so. I still have pulled like I think the only SIR I've pulled out of this set is Mega Latias out of Mega Evolution. Outside of that, I've pulled the gold Mega Lucario, but it was so off-center when I sent it in for grading, it got an 8. So, again, that was when I first was like getting back into the hobby and learning how to grade things properly and what the qualifiers really are. I probably should have done that ahead. Ninjask. Ooh, Ivysaur. Nice. This Ivysaur is in real good shape, too. And I just got some of my other PSA grades back from one of my first 2 batches that I submitted, and they got really... I got like 60% 10s, and I've learned a lot since then, so I expect to get even better grades going forward. So that Ivysaur might be 10 worthy. I gotta look at it up close later, but that is exciting. And again, I will have these videos posted on my TikTok in the near future, so you can see the cards up close if you're curious. And there's nothing good there. I'm not even going to say the names. All right, last Mega Evolution pack. I would really appreciate if I could get an SIR out of this one. I'm chasing the Mega Venusaur SIR, actually. I know everybody wants the Lucario and the Gardevoir SIRs and the gold ones, but I actually want that Mega Venusaur, because I have the Ivysaur and the non-Mega Evolution stamped Bulbasaur, so it'd be really cool if I could finish out that set, and it doesn't look like today's that day. Alright, so let's move on here. Alright, we're going to open these 4 Destined Rivals packs, and then we'll finish these out with Phantasmal Flames, and I'm going to sort a bunch of bulk, and feel free to hang out and watch me sort bulk. And looking at the comments on my YouTube, let's see, I see... Rare Candy Show, yes, I do play the TCG a bit. I got back into it when Phantasmal came out, and I played some pre-release, and I got completely destroyed. I tried to get back into Magic the Gathering. I don't have the patience for that one anymore. I do like collecting some of the Universes Beyond sets, but more because it's like Fortnite than actually playing the game. It's just like Commander especially is like too long. Leapherd, Tauros, Crustle. Boo. Last one of these UPCs, I pulled a Cynthia's Garchomp SIR out of the Destined Rivals ones, so I made my money back, which is awesome. And it was in really, really good shape, too, which sometimes I get really unlucky with, like, centering and stuff, so that one's off to get graded right now. And I still haven't pulled the Mewtwo, so I would love if I could pull the Mewtwo. Let's see... Pineco, Cynthia's Power Weight, and Sea Titan EX. Whenever I get an EX card, I like appreciate that I got it, but I don't really consider it a hit because they're worth like 8 cents. That said, there's a handful of EX cards that are worth money. Like the Mega Charizard one from Phantasmal's like $4 or $5 still, so is Mega Gengar. Alright, let's see what we got in this Destined Rivals pack. I would love Mewtwo SIR. I would lose my mind if I got that today. Okay, Mad Cargo, Sea Turtle, Gorbis. Alright, nothing in that one. Last try with Destined Rivals. I submitted 2 Charizard SIRs, and I got 1 back graded already, and it came back a 10. Very proud of that. That was my first, like, really expensive 10 card that I've submitted since I started collecting. All right, let's see. This is our last chance here for Destined Rivals. Let's hope we got an SIR. Nidorina. Oh, I don't have Zamazenta. It's not SIR, but I'll take this Illustration Rare and Zorora. All right, so we got 2 Illustration Rares and an Ultra Rare and an EX card so far, basically. And let's see if I just get totally wrecked on that UPC if there's no SIR in this in the Phantasmal packs. Watch me pull the Mega Charizard SIR again, just because I'm not looking for that card anymore. I mean, I'm not going to complain if I pull it, but it would just be like... I feel like that's always how it goes, where you're looking for a specific card, and then you keep pulling other cards. Reshiram, Piplup, Moltres. But again, this is more because I wanted some more product to open and make some more content for my channels, and because I had a bunch of stuff to trade into GameStop anyways. And none of it was like overly valuable where I felt it was worth like trying to get an extra few bucks on eBay or whatever. Gloom, Punk Helmet, Reshiram. Alright, we got 2 packs left here, and hopefully I don't get completely wrecked. No SIRs yet, so this might have been a pretty big bummer. But that's alright. I'm doing it for the fun and for the content. Haunter, Dizzying Valley, Zacian. Alright, last pack, y'all. I don't feel good about this right now. But it's fine. Once I'm done with this, I will get my sorting tray out and start sorting more bulk, and then feel free to ask me questions about any of the stuff I put in the top right there. Alright, Cerulege. Do we think this is going to be an SAR or something? Nope. Ooh, Rotom EX. Alright, so we got wrecked. But it's fine. I expected as such, so give me 1 second here. I am going to stop my TikTok recording and take off this other mic and not make the magnet go down my pants. There we go. Alright, let me put these away. If anybody is also a content creator and they're looking for what mic to buy for their phone, I'm a big fan of the DJI Mic 2 or Mic 3, whatever one that you can get your hands on. I like that they have the little USB-C and Lightning connector that you can switch out for your iPhone, depending on what version iPhone you have. And so I've always been a big fan of that. It also has Bluetooth capability, so there's certain apps that you can use it wirelessly without like the adapter at all. Yeah, and overall, I'm a big fan of that DJI product. I don't love all their products, but I like their mics. I haven't tried the Rode ones though, so if anybody's like a big fan of the Rode ones, let me know. Alright, give me 1 second. I need to figure out if any of these are getting sent in for grading, as well as if, yeah, not that one. These EX cards, definitely not. I think maybe the Ivysaur, though. Let's take a look at this. Alright, it looks very centered, and then it also doesn't have any whitening on the back, so I'm going to send that one in. So let me grab a penny sleeve, and I will do a quick tutorial on how I send things into PSA. So I use the Ultra Pro penny sleeves that have the little grabber thing on top, because I have a weird theory that if PSA has to struggle to grab it out of one of those semi-rigid holders, then it might get scratched when they're pulling it out, and then they'll still just blame you. So anyways, then I use the trading card size, like this size Ultra Pro semi-rigid card holder. And then I just kind of work it in there and make sure that the whole penny sleeve is like under the mark, the like little mark there. So if you look, the only thing that's outside of there is this little pull tab. And that way, when the grader gets this card, they pull that pull tab and they're not like pushing their fingers down there to grab your card. I worry that if they're putting their fingers in there or like using some tool to grab it, that's causing cards to get damaged. So anyways, that's what I do when I have a card that's ready for PSA grading, is exactly this. And now you're going to see what I do for cards that go in my binder. All right, I'm going to double check this Wailord, but yeah, it's got whitening in 3 of the 4 corners, so I am not going to send that in for grading. You can see that right there in the live stream. So anyways, this is what I do before I start sorting my cards, is that I sort my cards that could be valuable first. The other thing I do is once I eyeball my centering, but once it's in the sleeves, I take this is that Black Label Metrics company. They do a bunch of TikTok ads. And so I use this to line up my centering and make sure that it's probably going to be a 10. This very much prevents me from submitting PSA 8s for the most part. The only problem I've had is measuring full art trainer cards. Sometimes that doesn't work very well, but if you look at this guy, this is almost perfectly centered in every way. So basically what you do with these tools is you line up the inside art with the number 1 line there, and then you can see that all the edges are actually matching somewhere in that bold outside black line. And that's how you can tell that this should be a PSA 10. Sorry about the camera angle right now. I don't know what's going on with this. Hold on, I gotta automate. There we go. Sorry about that. It was doing weird stuff. So yeah. So anyways, this is what I use to pre-grade. Is I do this, and then I will also sometimes take an image and measure it in one of those like either AI apps or the ones where you can like move the edges around. But yeah, so this is kind of how that works, and I have had this be really reliable so far. So big shout out to Black Label Metrics for making that tool. I know there's a bunch of those grading tools out there. You don't have to go with them if you're like dedicated to another brand. If I have a card that isn't grade worthy and it goes in my binder, I generally double sleeve it with a side loading sleeve, and then I take a clear Dragon Shield sleeve and put it on the outside, and then I throw this in a top loader. It's probably overkill for most of my cards, but if I sell any of these singles, I'm sure the people buying them would appreciate the quality and the fact that they're really clean. So then this one looks like it might be grade worthy, but it also looks off-centered enough where, and never mind, there's a little whitening in the corner on the front, and so that one automatically would dip down to a 9. And this one is very off-centered, and it has some whitening on the back, so not even going to try this one, but yeah, I've gotten good at eyeballing these, and these are still valuable cards, right? Like, they're still valuable raw cards. They're still going to be worth something to somebody. It just, when it comes to if you want to grade it, then that's not a card that's probably in your grading list. So, like, right now, I have a bunch of these that I've pre-graded myself that I'm probably going to submit. And I actually just got a group of these Pikachu V Unions back that came back 10s, and so I was happy about that. I got a couple promo cards here. Most of my valuable cards I've already submitted, and there's a couple Japanese cards. But yeah, so most of my valuable cards I've already submitted, and I just sent in a batch of 50, and that was my biggest batch, or 52 actually. There's 2 cards that were worth more than, like, I expect them to both be 10s. I expect them to be worth a bunch of money. So I pre-graded them. I think there will be 10s, and then I paid for value max for one of them because I think it's going to be a 10, and it was one of these promo cards. It was actually this Mega Charizard. It was, the last one I sent in was like a perfect 10. And that's worth $600. So it would get charged above the value max. There is a risk in doing that, but the benefit in doing that is that there is a very high chance that your cards are going to skip the line versus everybody else's bulk TCG submissions if you do Collectors Club bulk. And so I can prove that's true because I have a submission that I submitted in late November that is still actually not, it hasn't even been processed by PSA yet. Then I have one that I submitted in early December with a Value Plus tier card. That one I just got the grades back this morning. And so, just saying, there's a lot of people in my comments on my pinned TikTok post where I talked about the Collectors Club and that hack, saying that I was full of it. And I can tell you with certainty right now that I'm not full of it, and whatever, honestly. Like, if you don't believe me, then fine. I'm just gonna keep benefiting because your cards are behind me in the queue. So anyways, I've learned a lot about how to grade cards in the past 6 months. And so let me wrap up these playmats, and then I'm gonna go grab my sorting tray, and we're gonna do sorting from now until I decide to end this video, or this stream. So give me 1 second. Camera is going nuts now, so let me go fix that real quick. My camera's just like, nah. There we go. All right, let me adjust this up a little bit so y'all can still hear me. And we'll go into sorting mode now. So happy to answer anybody's questions that are related to things like my tech careers, Pokemon cards, growing TikTok. I have grown my TikTok from scratch and had no like help from anybody besides like just people in the community. And I started with obviously no followers in like middle August or mid-August of 2025. I am almost about to hit 3,000, which I'll probably hit before the end of this week. So not the fastest growth, but I'm also not trying that hard. And yeah, I'm happy to share how I've done that if anybody in the creator space is curious. So let me just finish sorting this stuff out, and then we'll get started on sorting the actual product. All right, and move my camera. Sorry about my head in the camera a little bit. Let me see if I can fix that. I think I need to go a little higher with this. All right, I'm just gonna put this energy off to the side. All right, let me see if I can get this thing straightened out. All right, I think that's good enough. So we are now going to sort a bunch of bulk, and feel free to ask me any random questions about stuff that I know well. Let me fix this mic again. All right, I think that's a good height. Yeah, so feel free, if you're watching, to ask me any questions about random stuff that that I have in the top right corner there. I have a background working in tech for the last, I don't know, decade or so. And then I also grew up around cars. I know a ton about cars. I know a good amount about Pokemon, and I've learned a lot about growing TikTok in the past few months. So happy to answer anybody's questions, things people are curious about. Even if it's not any of those topics, I'm also happy to answer other stuff too. Just don't ask me what the meaning of life is, because I don't have an answer to that. And if anybody is curious about this tray, it is the BCW Safe Sort. Please buy one of these if you like sorting cards. It's probably the best tray I've ever used. My only complaint is it's not quite big enough for the sorting I want to do. I would love a tray that had a couple more, like one more row and a couple more columns. All right, item. This guy. No. Messed that one up. There we go. Takes me a minute, and then my muscle memory starts to kick back in about where everything's positioned, and then I can generally start cruising through these. Pokemon tool. So yeah, outside of this, I hope everybody's having a good week overall. I know it's Monday morning here in Vegas, so a lot of people are probably working, or if you're watching this stream, maybe you're supposed to be working and instead you're watching me sort Pokemon cards. And if so, I appreciate you, and I totally get it. I wouldn't want to be working either. And that's why I'm sorting Pokemon cards right now, because I don't want to be working. No, it's not true. I'm still working on getting my next job, but that is what I'm actually doing later this afternoon, is meeting with a bunch of people in my network on the Vegas Strip, because there's a conference this week in my industry, and gonna see if I get a better offer than the one I'm expecting to get later this week. So it's weird that sometimes when things happen, like you get laid off, at first it seems like, oh my god, this is terrible, and then you realize it's probably like one of the healthiest things mentally that's ever happened to you. I've never had remotely this much time off, and I feel my brain like healing from all of the freaking trauma of working in corporate my whole life. So anyways, people should really follow me so that I can like grow this social media thing and I don't have to work that corporate hell anymore. Not really though. I don't expect handouts from anybody. If I can do this all on my own, it's because I worked hard and people liked my content. I was just like watching a TikTok about that guy who like went up to Logan Paul and asked for a job, but like wasn't qualified to do anything, and he just wanted a handout, and that seems weird. Not that I'm not big into like following other giant social media influencers that are outside of the interests that I have anyways, but I just always thought that clip was funny. All right, let's see what else we got here. Thanks to y'all who are joining on TikTok and YouTube, especially since I don't have as many followers there. So really appreciate y'all. Or not TikTok. I meant Twitch. I have a ton of followers on TikTok. But yeah, Twitch is my I don't know how to do Twitch yet. I'm just kind of running it on the side as a afterthought, I guess. But until I start doing more gaming streams, I just don't think Twitch is really worth it a ton. So if anybody thinks otherwise, happy to debate. I just don't know that I would actually grow a big following there for my content right now. Let's see. Where does this guy go? There. And sorry, my head keeps getting in this. I gotta adjust my cameras for my next stream a little bit. I have an iPhone plugged into Streamlabs above my head, and then I have an Insta360 Link 2 camera that's showing my face in that angle. So I have a couple cameras here. When I first started doing live streams, I had them one was always pointing at only my desk, and kind of like this, but it was in a way that was more of a POV kind of view. And so for sorting cards, I need a bigger field of view, which means sometimes you see the back of my head when I have to lean forward to throw a card somewhere. So sorry about that. Yeah, if I have any car people on this stream, feel free to talk to me about cars. Not only am I a big car enthusiast, my dad he's about to retire. He worked 40-something, I think 50, over 50 years. He's 70-something now. So yeah, he worked 50-something years in the industry. And I inherited some of his knowledge. That said, that dude can... One time I heard him ask for somebody to put their car on the phone, as in he wanted to hear the cars and the noise the car was making. The person did it, and he diagnosed the car, what was wrong with the car, over the phone from 2 states away. It was always so impressive. But that's that old generation. They knew everything by sound and feel, and I feel like a lot of us in the generations after the boomers kind of lost that touch. That said, I'm in no way complimenting the boomers overall, because housing prices and stuff. Oh yeah, I filled the whole, got one of each in the tray now. These Darkness reverse hollows from Phantasmal and Mega Evolution, they're so hard to tell if they're reverse hollow or not sometimes. They just don't look like they're shiny at all when they're the Darkness version. Look at this. Right here, it looks like exactly the same as the regular card. It's not until you get that little angle that you can tell it's a reverse hollow. But that said, I think the old reverse hollows were the same way with Darkness cards. Sometimes Psychic ones with the old version I would get confused on. And it feels really good when you can speed run through sorting these sometimes. I'll get on a roll, and then all of a sudden I'll realize that I'm on a roll, and then my brain will be like, oh, you can't keep doing this. See, I started thinking about it there, and then I messed up. It's usually the reverse hollows that mess me up in the trainer cards, but once I get into the groove here, I don't know if anybody else on this stream has done their own sorting before, but without a tray, it's terrible. It's you're just half the time you're trying to make sure your stacks of cards don't fall over these cards on the bottom are. And imagine having to do that for every single type of card here. I'm gonna guess a lot of people just straight up don't sort their bulk and just throw it in a box somewhere and deal with it later. Kind of like when I was younger and I would clean my room by just pushing everything under my bed. I don't know. I started doing this kind of sorting because I got friends that buy a lot less cards than I do, but play a lot more than I do. So I'm happy to give them bulk that they're looking for to build certain decks. So So on that note, if anybody's ever looking for bulk, I got a lot of it. So I don't mind, like, if somebody wants to send me a few bucks for postage, sending a bunch of common or cards that people are looking for to build decks with. Especially things like the Monkey Dory cards or like Pheasantipides. Like, I have a ton of those, and I know people are always looking for those to build certain kinds of decks. Item. And appreciate all of y'all who are watching this on TikTok. Sorry, I'm in landscape mode today. But if you turn your phone sideways, it should look normal. Or press that like full screen button thing. And let's see. And if you're just joining, I opened a Mega Charizard UPC right before I started sorting today, and I got pretty wrecked, but I don't feel really bad because I wanted to open some more product, and I did a GameStop trade-in for crap that I would never play or use again, so it's fine. Alright, let's keep going here. Let's see. I've opened a lot of Phantasmal, apparently, which makes sense. I am very excited for Ascended Heroes in Perfect Order. I am very upset, though, that I didn't get my order submitted for Perfect Order. It, like, glitched out at the end and blocked my IP address when I tried to add the booster box, which was out of stock, apparently, by the time that I got in. And trying to do that blocked my IP, and it made it so I couldn't even buy the booster bundles and the Pokemon Center ETBs that were successfully in my cart. So, really upset. I learned the hard way. Don't get greedy when you're just trying to get an order through on Pokemon Center Q days. I got greedy, and fortunately I got a buddy that always manages to get every Pokemon Center ETB, and he got 2 of them, and I am going to find something he wants to trade for one of them. So at least I can have one in my collection, because those are like basically the only thing that I'm mentally strong enough to keep sealed is Pokemon Center ETBs. I try with everything else, but I'm so bad at it. Which, if you're watching right now, comment if you think I should open a... I have a Pokemon Center ETB for the Pokemon Go set, but I don't think there's anything exclusive in it, so I don't think it's actually worth keeping sealed. But comment if you think I should keep it sealed or not. I'm like trying to figure out, how do I make content that's as good as Deep Pocket Monster with his should I open it or should I keep it sealed whole thing. So far, my answer to that is, hey everybody, watch me sort my bulk Pokemon cards, but I don't think that's gonna fly. Watch me go viral for sorting Pokemon cards, because there's a bunch of psychos like me out there that, for some reason, get joy out of doing this. Alright, let me move these cards over. These were the ones that I found yesterday in my bulk that were, like, Pokeballs or EX cards, so on and so forth. So I'm going to go through those at the very end. I'm probably not going to finish sorting my bulk today, mostly because I want more content for live streams later, and but also because I have a lot left. Ooh, a Sylveon Pokeball. That's actually worth a couple bucks, I bet. Speaking of a Pheasantipede, there's the prismatic one. Thanks everybody on TikTok that's currently watching along. I don't know how many are actively watching right this second, but appreciate y'all if you're watching, and same with Twitch and YouTube. So if you're actively watching this, comment where you're watching it from, and yeah, definitely also make sure that you're following me wherever you are watching this, and try to go follow me on like TikTok especially, because that's where I focus mostly on things like my giveaways. I post the giveaway videos to all my other channels, well, not Twitch because that's a little weird, but that's a YouTube, Instagram, etc. But most of my interactions are on TikTok, so if you have a TikTok, definitely follow me there. Same screen name, AJ Choi Collects, and really appreciate it. But also like I said, that's where I interact the most with my followers, because I have like 10 times more there than anywhere else. But appreciate y'all that are following me on YouTube. I'm slowly growing that one out. I'm going to have some more long form kind of content coming up soon. I've been saying that one of the things I'm going to be doing is like a short documentary style video about how there's like actually a racketeering going on with third-party marketplaces and big box retailers right now. Like, it's insane to me that it is legal to do what these retailers do, where they allow, or their terms and conditions say they don't allow bots to buy product, but then they allow all of these scalpers to buy product using bots. And those same scalpers that are buying product using bots are the ones that are selling it back on the third-party marketplaces on the same websites. So for example, somebody goes and buys all the stock using a bot on Amazon's pre-orders for, say, Ascended Heroes. That same user is turning around and selling it on Amazon, and Amazon's making double the money because they make the money off of selling it at MSRP to these scalpers in the first place. And then think about it. They make the money back again when that same dirtbag sells it on the third-party marketplace on Amazon, because they take a cut of that too. I don't know how that's not illegal. I don't know how that's not price fixing. I'm pretty sure it is, and I'm pretty sure that that's not legal. So, I don't know. I'm going to continue doing a little bit more research on the legality side of it and see if I can blow the door open on that. Because we all know Amazon, Walmart, Target, they technically all have the capability to limit the number of purchases each user makes. Amazon does it, and they do it globally for like all of their stuff. So if, like, for example, they were selling Phantasmal Flames booster boxes the other day for like $209, which is only a little bit above retail. But each user could only buy like 1 to 3 of them. I think they upped it to 3 in the end, but they started it at a limit of 1. So that proves that Amazon has the technology today to limit the scalpers from buying all their product and reselling it to them. But why would they do that when they're just going to make double the money if they don't? So that's the state of our hobby, is that scumbags are fueling other scumbags. And by this other scumbags, I mean product managers at Amazon. Somebody at Amazon's like, we need to squeeze more money out of the toy category. And then the product manager for that area, because I work in product, so I know that this is what people do in those kind of companies, which, by the way, I refuse to work in that kind of company. The product manager is like, oh, crap, well, I need to get my bonus for this year. And so they're friggin' beg, borrowing, and stealing to figure out how to make an extra $100,000 before the end of the month. And how do they do it? They're like, let's create a racket on Pokemon cards. And somebody there's gotten promoted a bunch of times because they're unethical and a piece of crap, honestly. So, anyways, that's how I feel about the state of Pokemon cards, scalpers, and Amazon and all these big box retailers. The other crazy one is if you've ever shopped on Walmart and you see that there's a third-party seller on Walmart called GT Collectibles, guess who that is? GT Collectibles is MJ Holdings, as in the company that goes around the entire United States and restocks Walmarts for Pokemon cards. So if they're a distributor, and then they're also setting scalper prices on Walmart, except for when they do like a promo like deal with Walmart here and there, how is that also legal? How is that not price fixing? And why does the Pokemon company not care? So anyways, there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on in this hobby and collectibles overall that just make me worried that about like the state of things in the future. These are from the Black Bolt collections. If anybody wants these like hollow things, hit me up. I have so many of these from opening so many of those Black Bolt collections a couple months ago. The like ones with the Snivy, Oshawott, and Tepig reverse or regular hollows. Let's see, looking at comments, I am doing well, thank you. Just sorting Pokemon cards, hanging out for now, and then gotta go do some work later. Ooh, I found another Pokeball. Let's see. Put that in the stack. Found a surprising number of Pokeballs that I just either forgot about or probably just didn't want to bother sorting. Not right now on my car. Sorry, I am between jobs right now, so maybe when I actually get my next job, I will have some funds to actually do have somebody else detail it. But until that happens, I can't be spending a ton of money on that kind of stuff. But definitely will consider it in the near future. I should have my next job offer in the next day or two. And I will say it has been amazing not working for a whole month. I wish I could just not work again, but make as much money as I was making. That would be a big part of it. I did get some questions, not on here, but through some TikTok messages and stuff over the last couple days. People are curious what I do to be able to afford all this. Well, before I got laid off, I was working as a product manager in tech. My next job will likely be the same. I am not super concerned about it. Product management is a very high paying role, so as long as I get remotely near what I was making before, the fact that I live in a state with no state income tax means that we're dual income, no kids. When I have a job, I have funds to spend. So I will be back there real soon. Hopefully, like I said, in the next couple weeks, I'll have more than one offer, and I get to choose which one I actually want to do next. And then hopefully I can scale this whole content creation thing to eventually be able to make a side hustle out of this and maybe go full-time someday. I think that's the dream these days. Especially with the way that AI is changing everything in the tech space. I'm like, I don't know how long I really want to stay in this industry. And like, what are the implications in 10 years? Like, is anybody going to have a job in 10 years? At this rate, I think people have overestimated certain things about AI, but it does make me wonder with certain jobs. Like, somebody messaged me about like how I got into tech before, and I was telling them I kind of got lucky. I just like I worked in banking and then was good at the tech side of things, so that turned into a tech career for me. But they're asking me if they should like go to college for being a software developer, and I said no. I said, do not go to college right now for being a software developer. If you want to go to college for anything in the tech space, do things that would scale out data centers, like DevOps, anything in the networking space, but do not go into development in particular, because development is probably the thing that can most easily be replaced by large language models. And so kids that are just considering college and stuff right now, like this kid that messaged me on TikTok earlier, I straight up said it. I was like, don't make that the only, like, don't put all your eggs in that basket. Like, look into these tech jobs that can scale with AI data centers, and look into, if you're smart enough, like, look into the ones where you actually work on AI models. But that said, you have to be people that work on AI models themselves and like train, not just do the training, but understand like transformers. That's a whole different class of people. You're talking about like people who have doctorates and stuff, and like the people that don't are just incredibly smart, and generally like their brains don't work the same way as normal people. So if you're one of those people, awesome. But if not, and you want to have a really high paying tech job, I don't know if being in software development is the right answer anymore. So that's my thoughts on if you want a career in being a dev right now. All that said, I have a bunch of like dev colleagues that have been in the industry for a while that are looking for work and have just gotten laid off, and I'm getting interviews, I'm getting like conversations. I've kept my network very strong so I can reach out to people that I used to work with, but these developers are having a lot of trouble getting new jobs right now. So all that said, if the AI bubble bursts like it probably will, still going to need developers. It's just that the definition of what developers do is going to change a bit. So it's going to be a very interesting next 5 to 10 years. That's assuming that we don't kill ourselves with AI or something crazy doesn't happen with how all that stuff's working. So, ooh, I found a scoop up cyclone in here. Put that with my other cards. Oh, I found another full art trainer card. None of these have been valuable. I must have just opened these when I was in a hurry one day and said, I'll stack those with the bulk and sort them out later. Because I haven't found like an SIR or anything in this bulk yet. And anybody that's watching on TikTok, appreciate y'all. Let's see, Pokemon Tool. I'm almost done with this stack here, and then I think I'm going to take a break for today, the rest of today, because I don't want to sort 100% of my bulk today. Ooh, another Pokeball card. Another full art trainer. Goes there. Paldean Fates cards now. It's been a while since I've opened Paldean, so these have been sitting on my desk for a while apparently. All right, I think I am gonna call it for today. Let's see. Yeah, I've been streaming for about an hour now, so yeah, I'm gonna call it here in a second. Let me see if I got any other packs I can open real quick. I'll be right back. All right, I am back, and I'm going to open this Korean pack of, I'm assuming it's Glory of Team Rocket, but let's find out. So, all right, let's see what we got here. All right, is Persian the same in Korean? So it's P-E-R-I, Parisian, or is that no? O-U? I don't know. I'm still learning Korean. But that looks interesting. I'm going to translate that better later. It's just funny because certain cards are a direct translation of the English version of the Pokemon, but then other cards are a direct translation of the Japanese name. So the Korean version is like a mishmash between the two, and it's honestly a little confusing. All right, so to recap, let's see what we got here. So when I opened the Phantasmal Flame, or not, the Mega Charizard UPC, didn't do the greatest. We got, where's my other card here? So we got this Ivysaur that I'm going to send in for grading because it was pretty perfect. We got a Wailord, an Zoroark Ultra Rare, a Zamazenta IR, and then these two, whatchamacallits, EX cards. So probably lost a bunch of money there if I didn't do a bunch of trade-ins, but that is what it is. Anyways, that was fun to open on a live stream, so I am going to call it here, and I'll probably be back tomorrow or in the next few days to do some more of this bulk sorting, and then take it from there. So if you like this, definitely follow me, and make sure that you check out my next live streams, and I'm going to keep doing this, do some video game streaming, and some other stuff coming.